Hello everybody. Haven't done a video in a while. I've been working on a much larger project, but for now I wanted to give you some first thoughts about my new toy. And this is the Yamaha YEV 104 electric violin. This thing is pretty interesting. A little bit about why I got this thing. I play on a regular acoustic fiddle, and no matter what I did with mics, microphones, mic placement, room treatment, trying all sorts of crazy stuff, having the mic under me, having the mic behind me, the mic addressed towards the scroll of the fiddle, dual miking, all that stuff. I just could not get a tone that I thought was even remotely usable with the fiddle. So rather than keeping on getting frustrated with that, because it was keeping me from recording, I wasn't going to record what I thought was a bad sounding violin or fiddle, I decided let's try an electric fiddle, and started watching videos, reading reviews, and this is what I settled on, the Yamaha. And this is actually a pretty reasonably priced instrument. Yamaha makes some higher end models, much more expensive than this. I got this for $610 from the Electric Violin Shop in Durham, North Carolina. Yamaha makes much more expensive models, twice as expensive, 3 times as expensive, and honestly from the YouTube videos I saw, they didn't sound as good. So we're going to give this a try, and so far I'm pretty pleased with it. Here's one tune I'll play for. Maybe I should turn up my volume pedal. I'm running into a Marshall Origin 20. I don't have like an acoustic amp for acoustic, like acoustic guitars or fiddles, anything like that. So that's going to be a purchase further down the road. This is a Marshall Origin 20, and running into some guitar speakers which are really mid-range heavy, so that's going to color the sound a little bit. And I'm running in, the only effect I'm using is a Strymon Blue Sky reverb, which gives it a really nice flavor. Let's see what this sounds like. So, as you can hear probably from my playing, it's a bit of an adjustment. My fiddle has a much flatter bridge. I'm used to playing like a Cajun style and lots of double stops. It's got a flat, low bridge. This is a much more standard bridge, the way they cut it. You can see that against my sweater there. That's pretty good indication there. Also, I'm dealing with a scale change. My fiddle is just a little bit smaller than a standard violin. It's actually, my fiddle is from, the person who restored it said it was a mid-19th century French violin. And instruments have changed over time. A lot of the Stradivariuses that professional violinists use have been modified from their original form to accommodate the higher string tension that comes with the higher intonation. It's a bit sharper than what these instruments were built for, and so they have been modified. Mine, I guess, has not, my old one. So dealing with a bit of a longer scale length, have to stretch the fingers just a little bit more, and I'm hitting some flat notes and stuff, so just dealing with that, it's a bit of an adjustment. So, but it's an interesting instrument, this thing. I'm getting what I think is a good recordable tone. Doing some EQ into Pro Tools, I'm sure I can get something that sounds almost like an acoustic violin, especially when you combine it with some other instruments. It'll really blend in well. So I'm really happy so far. I will say I hate the strings on this instrument. I've got some new strings on order. These are, according to the manual that came with it, these are Diodario Ziex strings, which have a synthetic core, and they're not responsive, at least not to me. I've tried it with 2 different bows. This is my backup bow, which actually seems to be a bit better on this instrument, but the strings are not responsive. I'm getting a lot of harsh, like false notes with it, and hopefully some different strings. I usually use prims, which are pretty much frowned upon by the violin playing intelligentsia, but as a fiddle player, first and foremost, I love prim strings. But we'll see what works with these. I'm going to give some different strings a try. We'll see what works. You see, I've got this volume control on this thing, and there's also a bypass button, which just bypasses the volume control, which this thing is loud, and so I don't really mess with that. Also, when you have a volume knob engaged, that will color your sound. No matter how transparent a volume knob is, it's going to affect the tonal response of the instrument throughout its sweep. That's just the way it works. Especially on, well, you could have some really complicated electronics and stuff to try to mitigate that. Not on an instrument like this. The volume knob is gonna color the sound. So, but I like the way it's coloring the sound so far, and so I'm gonna play another tune. There you go. And like I said, you can get a lot of mid-range from these guitar speakers that I'm running into, so take that into consideration. So yeah, that's pretty much my first thoughts about this electric violin. One last thing is the chin rest. I'm pretty particular about a chin rest. I use a Whitner. Actually, mine fell off of my old violin, and I just haven't put it back. But on this, you're limited in your choices because the thing has to be mounted to the tail. It can't be mounted on the side because guess what? There's nothing to mount it to. So I am struggling a bit with, I think this is a Stradivarius style chin rest. I may go to an even shorter shoulder rest if they make one. We'll see. It does tend to interfere with my chin a little bit, but it's an adjustment. But I'm getting into it. I like the instrument so far. So next thing to do is record with it, and we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching.